Is Peach's backstory going to change in the games to match a Mario Galaxy movie? It might, and we have things to talk about. Hey everyone, Andre here, and now that the movie's finally opening in Japan, yeah, weeks later than everywhere else, Miyamoto's been talking about it, and let's just launch right into it, including how we even end up with the Galaxy setting in the first place. And apparently we now know who to blame, being Chris Melandre over at Illumination, because apparently it was his idea. He brought it to Miyamoto, and Miyamoto said, that's perfect. I could really see how the world of the Mario games will unfold in the movies from now on to the Galaxy. It isn't the Galaxy in the sky of New York, but a galaxy in the sky of the Mushroom Kingdom. So this is interesting because I have no problem with the galaxy setting. My only issue is them jumping to it immediately after the first movie. It just felt too sudden, and now that they've expanded the galaxy, you can't exactly rebottle that genie, right? So I don't know if that was really the best idea or not, but apparently, you know, based on the reviews, maybe not. That was probably the least of the reviewers' issues. And they actually asked Miyamoto about the lower reviews for the Mario Galaxy movie compared to the first one, and it's interesting to hear what Miyamoto had to say. He said, "The situations are similar, aren't they? Actually, I thought the critics' reviews of the first movie were understandable, but I thought this time it would be different, and it was even harsher than last time, which I found strange. People from other mediums are coming in and working hard to liven up the film industry, so it's really strange that the people who are trying to liven up the film industry are so passive." So I want to be clear, it's entirely possible some context or nuance is lost in this translation. I'm not fully sure if I really understand the latter part of that. The point is here is that Miyamoto seemed to have been surprised by the reaction, and that part concerns me. As a huge defender of the first Mario movie, I think that movie really got the balance right of how a Mario movie should be. It's fun, it's lighthearted, but still explores some themes as well, like deeper themes that the games never have, and the fact that Miyamoto was surprised by the reaction to Mario Galaxy movies' reception is deeply concerning, because it makes me wonder if he understands what made the first movie so great in the first place. No, a lot of people love the movie. I had a good time with it, the new one, I mean, but still, you know, I hope that they take the right lessons away from this as they apply it to the third one. Although, one of those lessons may not be something a lot of people are happy with, and that is how the games could be influenced by Peach's backstory specifically. Because apparently Nintendo Dream asked Miyamoto if the expansion on Peach's backstory that we've seen in the movies could be considered canon to the games, in which Miyamoto said, because we don't know what kind of game we'll make next to their characters, having too many character settings would become a constraint. I'm fine with being bound by the gameplay, but I don't want to be bound by having created a story, which has been the reason for not making movies for so many years, or all these years. So before making this movie, I hadn't decided on the character's backstory, but now that I'm making the movie, it's become fun to expand on the character in various ways. Therefore, I would like to adhere as much as possible to the settings created in the movie in future games. So to be clear, based on this translation, it doesn't sound like he's specifically stating for sure, or specifically addressing the Peach backstory, though it was in response to that. So we don't know whether he's talking in a more general sense, or whether he is specifically talking about Peach. In any case, this is pretty interesting in that the movies are seemingly influencing games to some degree. Myself, I would love to incorporate the Brooklyn backstory once again to be Mario's official canon in the games. I want it to be from the real world. I love that idea. Now, I think a lot of people would agree with that, but when it comes to Peach, it's a little bit more divisive, because that also correlates to Rosalina's backstory, in which they substantially changed it in the movie, where instead of having a whole family before, and also how we learn she becomes the parents of the Lumas, or the parental figure for the Lumas, she just is born from stardust, spoilers, and she has no real family, and although the Luma backstory could still be similar, we don't even know where they came from in the movies. So I think people are concerned what this means for Rosalina more than what it means for Peach. Myself, though, I've always liked the idea of Peach and Rosalina being officially related, and I like that the movie finally seemingly took that step. Unfortunately, I didn't love everything of how they explained it, you know, and how it also did contradict a bit of what we know from the games. I think that's really where people are getting hung up on, is what this means for Rosalina. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what this actually means in full. Again, maybe it doesn't even apply to Peach specifically. Maybe it applies to other aspects of the games. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see for the next Mario, which hopefully will be coming out in the next year or so. We'll have to wait and see once again. Who knows at this point. So with that, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think of all this, or what do you make of all this. And I'll link to all this in the description below as well if you'd like to read it more for yourself, including the original Nintendo Dream interview in full, though it's in Japanese. So with that, everyone, thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.